Welcome back to Whatever You Need, the only digital sanctuary where we don't just report the news, we dissect the soul of the entertainment world. We exist in the spaces between the flashing lights and the scripted answers, looking for the moments that define a generation. Today, we are not talking about a simple press release. We are talking about lightning striking the same spot twice. We are talking about a moment so unscripted, so raw, and so electric that it has rewritten the headlines for the entire year. Before we plunge into this ocean of charisma and mystery, do us a favor, ensure you are part of this journey. Smash that subscribe button, ring the bell to stay ahead of the curve, and if you truly appreciate deep, literary analysis of the stars you love, consider hitting the join button. Your support allows us to keep treating these stories with the respect they deserve. Now, let's step into the room where everything changed. The atmosphere inside the venue was already vibrating with a specific frequency of anticipation, that unique hum that precedes the unveiling of a major production. Barış Arduç, a man who has mastered the art of screen presence, held the stage with the easy, languid confidence of a veteran. He was there to present his new project, a venture that had already garnered significant whispers in the industry corridors. Dressed with an effortless elegance that seemed to say, "I am here to work, but I am at peace," he navigated the initial technical questions with a light-hearted humor that kept the assembled press relaxed. Microphones lined the front row like jagged teeth, and camera lenses stared unblinkingly, capturing every shift in his posture. For the first 20 minutes, it was a textbook launch. Barış spoke of character arcs, production challenges, and the thrill of a new narrative landscape. The journalists were dutifully taking notes, preparing angles about his solo return, asking about the weight of carrying a new story on his shoulders. The rhythm was established: question, answer, flashbulb. It was professional, polished, and predictable. And then, the universe decided to rewrite the script. Just as a reporter from a major daily began to formulate a question about filming locations, a heavy door at the back of the auditorium slid open. There was no announcement. No PR representative rushed in to herald a guest. There was just the sudden, undeniable presence of Elçin Sangu. It is difficult to describe the physics of a room changing in real time, but that is exactly what happened. It wasn't just that a famous actress had walked in, it was that she had walked in. Unannounced, unplanned, and completely magnetic, she cut through the professional tension like a blade of light. In an instant, the air density seemed to shift. Heads turned in a cascading wave, whispers rose from a low murmur to a frantic buzz, and the entire room refocused as if drawn by a single, invisible pulse. The journalists who moments earlier were debating editorial angles now scrambled, abandoning their notes. Hands shot up not to ask questions, but to point. The rhythm of the press conference shattered, replaced by a live wire tension that had everyone on the edge of their seats. Barış's reaction was the first clue that this was not a staged publicity stunt. He didn't offer a rehearsed welcome. He paused mid-sentence, a genuine look of surprise washing over his features, before breaking into that familiar, easy grin that has charmed audiences from Istanbul to Madrid. He waved her closer, a gesture so casual and intimate it felt like inviting an old friend to a dinner table rather than a stage. But let us be clear, according to every source we have spoken to since, nobody, absolutely nobody, expected her. That element of genuine shock made the surprise palpable. It felt authentic, fresh, and thrilling in a way that modern PR rarely achieves. Elçin's presence lit the room with the kind of warmth that cannot be manufactured. She greeted the stunned crowd with a soft, gracious nod, then took a seat near the front, crossing her legs and turning her attention to Barış with the focus of a supportive peer. She didn't demand a microphone, she didn't try to steal the spotlight. She simply existed in the space, and that was enough to change the gravity of the event. However, the press could not let her be a silent observer. The questions, once directed solely at Barış's new character, began to veer wildly. Reporters were calling her name, their voices rising over one another. "Elçin, what do you know? Are you involved? Is this a sign?" Playfully, she teased the room, her voice carrying a lilt of amusement. She suggested that she had seen, a little of what's cooking, and that audiences would be shocked, in the best way, by the direction of this new work. That single sentence, delivered with a knowing smile, was enough to send smartphones into overdrive. Throughout the remainder of the event, the two of them slipped into a rhythm that felt almost choreographed, though it clearly wasn't. It was the muscle memory of two people who have spent countless hours decoding human emotion together. He handled the technical queries with poise and surprising candor, then sprinkled in humor to keep the mood light. She, from her seat and later standing beside him, nudged him with a mischievous remark here and there, prompting laughter that broke the stiffness of the formal setting. The defining moment came when a journalist, sensing the emotional resonance in the room, asked about their dynamic. Barış leaned into the mic, his expression turning thoughtful, and said with a half-smile that good timing is half the job, and that seeing a familiar face at the right moment makes everything easier. It was a simple statement, but it carried the weight of years. Elçin, nodding in agreement, added a line that has since been quoted across every social media platform: "Support is a love language in itself, especially when a friend stands on the edge of a big leap." That line sparked cheers and a spontaneous wave of applause. It wasn't about romance in the tabloid sense, it was about the profound, enduring connection between two artists who respect each other's craft. A flurry of follow-ups poured in immediately. Who invited her? Was she just stopping by? Was this coordinated by the team, or was it something else entirely? The organizing staff exchanged wide-eyed looks that made the answer obvious: it hadn't been prearranged. The spontaneity only escalated the tension in the room. Each glance exchanged between them was catalogued, every quick smile framed by the lenses hovering at the edge of the stage. "We have to pause here, whatever you need, family." This kind of unscripted loyalty is rare. Do you think Elçin's appearance was truly just a gesture of friendship, or is it a calculated hint at a future collaboration? We want to read your theories in the comments. And if you are enjoying this detailed breakdown, please smash that like button, it helps us bring you more stories like this. And don't forget, clicking join makes you an official producer of our content. When a reporter finally summoned the courage to ask boldly whether the two might reunite on screen, the energy in the room broke into good-natured laughter. It was the elephant in the room, finally addressed. Barış scratched the back of his neck, a telltale sign of his modesty, and said he could neither confirm nor deny, and that everyone should watch this space. Elçin, wielding that understated charm she uses so effectively, simply offered, "When the story is right, the rest is easy." The press loved it. The cameras devoured it. And the internet? The internet went into absolute meltdown. Within minutes, photos of them side by side began flooding social platforms. Clips of their playful banter were spliced into reels, stitched with fan edits, and replayed with captions that turned speculation into a trending topic. Fans, some still deeply nostalgic about their iconic on-screen chemistry, others simply thrilled to see them in the same frame, fired off thousands of comments. Are they teasing a reunion? Is this a sign? Will they work together on the new project? Those questions echoed across timelines, climbing into top trends before the conference even ended. Still, amid the frenzy, the original purpose of the day remained intact, and that was largely because of how they navigated the storm together. Barış stayed focused on his vision, laying out the bones of the project with clarity while revealing just enough to tease the audience's imagination. Elçin's unexpected arrival didn't distract, it added color to that blueprint, hints of red on a black and white drawing, if you will. When she mentioned that the script carried a beating heart and brave choices, the room went quiet for a moment, the kind of hush that only falls when people sense something real is being shared. Then came the laughs again, because she couldn't resist nudging him about his long nights at the office, his ritual of pacing while thinking, and his habit of rewriting scenes at the last minute. He took it in stride, confessing with a grin that he chases the moment when a scene suddenly breathes. Later, during the Q&A, a reporter asked if there was a risk in bringing so much attention to a project still under wraps. Barış answered with a steady voice. Passion always carries risk, but it also carries momentum. He thanked the press for their curiosity, and gently reminded them that every project deserves room to grow. Then he glanced at Elçin, and for a second, they looked like co-conspirators standing at the threshold of something magnificent. That moment became a freeze frame all across social media. The culmination of the event felt like a scene written specifically for them. As the conference wrapped up, the room didn't empty. It swelled forward. Photographers called their names, begging for a shot together. They obliged, stepping side by side in front of the backdrop. Barış angled slightly toward her, Elçin's hand resting lightly along her side, both of them relaxed and smiling. Flash after flash captured the calm certainty in their gaze, the shared history, the electric present, and the tantalizing possibility of what might come next. Those photos traveled faster than any press release. Journalists who minutes earlier were carefully taking notes now summarized the whole day in one statement: this was the most talked about moment in the entertainment world. But the show wasn't just in the photo pit. Backstage whispers suggested that even the production team had been caught off guard by her arrival. One crew member, still clutching a headset, reportedly said, "We didn't plan this, but somehow it's exactly what the event needed." Another remarked that the energy in the room doubled the second she walked in. That energy was not lost on fans. Comment sections overflowed with declarations about their natural rapport, praise for their warmth, and thoughtful observations about how they respect each other's craft. Many repeated a hopeful refrain: they belong in a new story together. Through it all, the press kept trying to pin them down. Are you two officially working on something together? Is the door open? Is the script already out there, waiting to be announced? He responded with a chuckle that doors are always open when the right story knocks. She added, with a glint in her eye, sometimes the right story knocks louder than expected. That exchange ricocheted through timelines. Fan pages turned it into headlines, captions, even merch mock-ups within hours. The trend graphs climbed. By evening, the clip was everywhere. What began as a simple press gathering transformed into a landmark moment. Journalists who came for bullet points left with a memory, fans who clicked in to watch a routine stream stayed to witness a spark that felt impossible to fake. And while the room eventually emptied and the lights dimmed, the questions hummed in the air like a chorus that refused to fade: will they join forces again? Can that chemistry, so obvious on screen and unmistakable in person, find its way into a new project? In the quiet after the cameras stopped, someone close to the team murmured that Elçin had come purely to support him, making the decision on her own, and slipping into the venue without fuss. If that's true, and all signs suggest it is, then her presence was not a strategic gambit but an act of solidarity. Perhaps that is why the encounter felt so alive. It wasn't planned. It was felt. We leave you tonight with this thought. A gathering that should have been ordinary became pure electricity because one person walked into the room, and everything changed. Barış Arduç held the stage with grace, Elçin Sangu turned the afternoon into a story. Thank you for watching. Whatever you need. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and join us for more exclusive deep dives. Until next time, keep your eyes on the stars.